Dr. Angela McBurdy of DoctorFlute.com, and today's flute tip is on how to choose a new head joint. So you think that you want to have a new head joint, that you're looking for a new head joint, you're in the market for one. Let me tell you a couple things that you need to be looking for. The first thing, before anything else, is to make sure that you are in shape. If you have taken time off before you've gone to look for this head joint, or you don't feel like your lip is totally in shape, it is not even worth you going. You need to make sure that you're in very good shape, that your muscles are all working here, because only then can you really tell the head joint that's going to be the best for you. Make sure you've done your work, your practice, your lip is good, it feels warm. And yes, when you arrive, it might be cold, and then you'll want to do a little bit of warm up there too before you're ready to go. But you've done the work building up to that so that you can judge appropriately. The next thing before you go to pick out a head joint is to ask yourself, what are you looking for? What sound is it that you want to have, or genre of sound, or general idea? What do you want from a new head joint? Are you looking to get a bigger sound? Are you looking for an edgier sound? Are you looking for one that takes an maybe more uncontrolled sound and gives you a little bit more focus? What is it? Do you want a crisper attack? Do you want a better low register? Do you want better high register? Do you want a sound that responds immediately? What is it that you think you're looking for? Now, that might change. Once you start listening and playing a bunch of different head joints, what you thought you wanted might not be what you actually end up with. But you need to go with an idea. You need to be able to tell whoever's helping you out at the flute place what you're looking for. You're looking for this because they know. They know about head joints and metals, and they know how to direct you to give you what you're looking for. So I wouldn't just go blindly and say, well, here's how I sound. What do you think I need? If you have lots of money to just throw away, sure, do that. But if you are specific, they can help you. The workers are there to help you. Usually they're flute players themselves, and they know about these head joints. They know what it is that will answer the problems and the issues that you have and that you want to change. Okay, now that you've got those established, you're warmed up, you've been practicing up until then, and you know what you're looking for. Now let's just talk about the head joints. There are 3 areas that you're going to consider when you're looking at these head joints. One is the size and shape of the embouchure hole. Now they aren't all the same. This size and shape can be very different. I look at this is a head joint that I'm looking at right now, and this is different from mine. It certainly is a little bit bigger of an embouchure hole. And so they are all different, and they're going to give you something different. All right, so you're going to look for that too, and you can feel free to ask whoever's helping you about that. So tell me about the size and shape, and what for what you're looking for. What should you be having there? Number 2 is the angle of the strike edge. So the strike edge, or the blowing edge, is where your air is hitting here and then it's being cut. And then we have this angle right here. So I think what they're talking about for the angle is both this, where it's cutting your air in fractions, so some of it goes in, some of it goes out, and how this angle is here. This can be very steep, or it can be much more gradual. That's very important. It's also going to be important when we talk about metals too. But right here is different on every instrument, and that too is going to give you different response times. It's more mellow or more bright or a crisper attack. All those things are really important. And then the third area that you're going to consider is the metal. Now, there are a myriad of choices there. Generally, we're thinking of silver, gold, and platinum in various combinations. And that can be the tube, the lip plate, the riser, which I heard someone else call it a chimney. The riser attaches the head joint and the lip plate together. So the riser is right in there. It's where your air hits first. So even if you can't see gold or some other type of metal on that riser, it's still there and makes a sound. But also the crown. There are makers that just make crowns, and you can change the crown on your flute and see what it does to your sound. If you have a silver flute and you choose a gold crown and everything is silver, or vice versa. There's a lot of choices out there. So those are your three choices: the angle, the size and shape of the embouchure hole, the angle of the strike edge, and the different metals, and in any combinations. Those are the things that you're going to be looking for and talking about. And of course, price is always part of that. The more gold you have, the higher the price is going into platinum. Something that they also are doing nowadays with the metal is they line the inside of the tube. So it can look like it's silver, and it is silver on the outside, but inside could be 5% gold, or it could be aramite, some of the other metals that they're playing with to make different sounds on the head joint. So those are the things that you're going to look at. Now we'll go a little bit more in depth. Let's talk about the size and shape of the embouchure hole. Now this size and shape can vary, and it will vary on every instrument you have. The choices are large or small, oval or rectangle. Those are your choices, but they will vary slightly in how each head joint maker decides to use those. The large and oval is the more traditional way. More rectangular, like this is rectangular, is going to be the modern cut. And this particular one has a oval, has a rectangle, but a straight edge over here, and that apparently, according to the head joint maker, gives it a better, clearer low register. So if that's something you're looking for, then this type of cut right here is what you would be looking for in different head joints. So that is what you would talk about, because apparently if it's oval, it's going to give you this, and if it's rectangular, it's going to give you this. And there again, you need to come with some idea of what you want out of your head joint, so that the person helping you can direct you towards the correct size and shape that would be right for you. All right, let's talk about number 2, the angle of the strike edge over here. Now, this can be steep, or it can be more gradual, or it can be, I guess, somewhere in between. And if you look at this edge from a number of different head joints, you'll see that they're all a little bit different. This one is pretty steep right in here, this angle coming here. If I show you my original head joint, this is definitely a little more gradual than this one. I don't know if you can see that through there, but this one is a more gradual, and this is definitely steeper. Now, the more gradual is supposed to create more resistance, and that more resistance is going to give you more color. And I've heard that before in the past, that you can have a wider range of color, but the resistance sometimes takes a little bit to work with, and that in today's day and age, where we want everything right now, I want that response time to come right now, that the sound you're looking for, it takes a little bit to work with, but once you've worked with it and you've gotten it, that is a great angle for that. Today, though, I think the idea is that if you have this, it's a quicker response, that there's not as much resistance coming from this edge, and so your sound is right there. I think that also is what helps give today's in sound is a little bit bigger, a little bit buzzier, a little bit edgier type of sound, which is in today, and this type of head joint is going to give that to you. So this edge is very important for the sound you're looking for. If you want sweet, dulcet sounds, perhaps a different angle could be what you're looking for, because of the playing that you're going to be doing doesn't need a cutting edge sound that's going to shoot out and be very powerful. I think that a different angle might be good, but that is something to discuss with the person that's helping you out. Just be aware that this edge is going to give you different sounds, and the response time, the resistance is going to be different depending on this. This is a modern cut. The more sloping edge of the other head joint is a traditional cut. And you might want to try them both to see what you think the sound is, and if you like one above the other. So don't be afraid to ask, can I have a modern strike edge cut or a classical traditional cut, and see what the difference is. All right, the last place, and probably the most varied aspect of choosing a flute head joint, is the metal. Now, a gold head joint, a silver head joint, we're talking about the whole tube here, and platinum are really your options, but there are various strengths and carats and thicknesses and all those type of things in the tube, and I can't get into what does a 14 karat gold do as opposed to a 22 karat gold, as opposed to a 9 karat gold, and silver and platinum. Silver is pretty much going to be silver. We don't usually deal with weights, except we do deal with thicknesses. My flute is a 0.16, 0.14, 0.18. I think today 1.6 is more of the traditional weight, because it's in between. It's not heavy, it's not thin. But you can have a lot of different choices here. So it depends on how much money you want to spend as well. Now, I've always liked to have a silver head joint, and I've liked to have a little bit of gold because it gives just a bit of zing that I enjoy having in my tone by adding a riser. And so a riser is just the part that attaches your lip plate to your head joint. You can't see it, but your air hits there and it changes your sound completely. I think that risers can do a whole lot to change your tone. If you're looking at these head joints and you say, okay, well, the riser could be different. The lip plate can be a totally different metal. We could have a silver head joint with a gold lip plate. You could have a gold crown, and that changes. It makes your flute a little weightier, but it does change your tone. There are so many choices that you can have in the metals. You have to just take your flute wherever you're looking at head joints and try out these head joints with your music in front of you and see what each of them does for you. The metals are very important. You can have metal line the instrument. You can take your silver, combine it with some gold, and it looks silver, but it's actually a gold-silver mix, and it changes your tone. So when you are looking for that flute head joint, and now you've practiced, you know what you're looking for as far as tone goes, now it's time to settle on the metal and try those different metals out. See which metal does the most for you, and settle on that flute head joint. It can be a lot of fun, it can be a little bit frustrating, and it can take a long time. But if you work with it, play your music, and know what you're looking for, you'll pick the right one. So this can be a really fun time. I would really recommend that you go to a flute convention, and the National Flute Convention is probably the best place because every head joint maker and seller of head joints is going to be there, and you can take your flute out and you can plop any head joint on and try them out, and you can start narrowing them down. And then when you want to narrow them down, because you're playing them in everybody's out there playing, you have tons of flutes, but you can get an idea of what you like. Then you can settle on 4 or 5 head joints that you can then have sent to your house, and in the privacy of your own house, in the room that you practice in all the time, you can try those out and see what do you sound like. Because oftentimes, something that I really liked at a convention in my own house doesn't sound the same. It sounds quite a bit different. And so I'm glad to bring them home, that I don't have to make a decision there. But I like the fact that at these conventions, you can try them all and decide which ones might be the ones that you're looking for. You narrow that scope down. Have fun doing that. It's a lot of fun trying head joints. It's our toys, right? It's the type of toys that we flutists like to have. Remember, the grass is always greener. Keep putting your own head joint back on after you've tried some of these others to see, does it really change? Does it really give you something that you want? Or is the one that you already own just as good? Keep that in mind, because sometimes it is. Have fun choosing a head joint. I hope this is giving you a lot of information to try, to understand, and to use when you go to pick out your own head joint. Have fun. If you like today's flute tip, press the like button, subscribe, comment below, share it with your friends.